defeat this afternoon to Celtic reserves. How did you see the 90 minutes?
I think overall we never deserved anything. Celtic were the better team. They outplayed us, outfought us, and just looked a better team all round. They created 2 or 3 chances. We created 1 or 2 half chances from free kicks, and that was a disappointing piece. But Celtic thoroughly deserved it.
We seem to have that early opportunity, Joe Thompson's shot getting cleared off the line, but as you say, that's maybe the most notable shot of the game that we had. Is that the most disappointing thing, that we didn't really open them up? It
was, yeah, especially with the team that we had out, and that's, it would have been a great fairy tale story for Joe to come back and, score that goal on his return 6 or 7 months later. It would have been great for him, but the positives, with Joe coming back and play 45 minutes with what he's been through is great. But with the team we had out and the experience we had, especially going forward, we had a young boy wide right, and with Josh Coley, with McGill, and Joe Thompson underneath with Beadland and Morrison, we've got to do a lot better than that, and that's what was disappointing. And the boys, obviously, they knew about it at half time, and that's just the matter of it. It wasn't good enough, especially playing on the pitch with our supporters. It was hard to watch at times.
I know that you're obviously disappointed, but is there many positives you could take away from today? Guys like Miller Fenton playing at full back and really seemed to show himself up well against a highly rated young player at Celtic.
Well, Bertie, that's why I'm here, right? The important part is that we look at the young boys. To play somebody who just turned 16 last Wednesday is, it excites me. He's came from a FIFA League programme, and he's been doing very, very well. He played a game for me last Monday against Alloa, and he did really well playing against Dembele, who's got a bright future, and we know what he can do. So I thought he snuffed him out. Maybe I'm just being a little bit biased, but to come in on the stadium, playing against a good Celtic team who's clearly played together, he can go out there and hold his head and shoulders up high, because he was outstanding.
Again, I know you're saying you're disappointed, but you obviously say that you learn from these experiences that helps young players. So do you almost take that as a positive, that maybe they'll take away from today's disappointing performance the fact that they've still got a bit to go, maybe?
I think the reason I'm disappointed is because I want to win. Every time you go out, you want to win. Yes, you want to develop players and bring them through, but I think, a lot of them will take something out of the game. And you look at the way Celtic passed the ball, they were crisp, they were clean. And that was what I was saying to the players at the end, that, just how good they were in possession of the ball. And I always pride the reserves on actually doing really well in possession of the ball. I think it's probably the worst performance we've had since I've been involved with the club. And that's a disappointing piece, especially being out there, because we don't get many opportunities to play out there. And when we do, you want to shine, especially with the support we had. And that was a disappointing piece.
For you, the next game, I think next Monday, is it against Dundee United, so it gives you a few days to really get them back on the training ground and working ahead of that match.
Well, nothing will change. We have a great group of younger players. A lot of the younger players missed out today because the older players came back and played, and that's the disappointing part, being the younger boys. The older players played in that game because they needed minutes. So nothing changes. The intensity levels of our training is fantastic, but the point I'm making to them is that they're at Celtic for a reason. You saw that today. Every single pass they had, I thought, was clean. It was dead weight. They were going at pace. They were driving at people. The separation between players in 1v1 situations was fantastic. So for our younger players to look at that, it's actually exciting looking at Celtic, and that's a level that I want our players to get to. And me as a coach, when I look at it, I'll be driving them every single day, and we'll be looking at that game or saying to them, that's the standard. So there was a lot of, I'm saying there was a lot of negatives in the game, and a lot of people will look at themselves and probably think rightly so, think they should have done better. But that's football. I get it as an experience, but it's hard coming back and playing reserves. As a younger player, you're excited about playing reserves, so it's hard to marry that in. When you marry a squad and you're consistently coaching the same squad every week, it's different. And at Celtic, you saw that today. There was no experience. Well, one half-experienced player in Dembele, and Boy Buck, I think, was at Alloa last year. So, they've got a squad there. They're grooming them together. You saw the way they pressed. It was collective. It was good to watch, and it just never worked for us today. It was simple. but you know, it was great to give boys minutes. Joe Thompson coming back's fantastic for the club. You know, that's another huge, you know, step in the right direction for Joe, which I'm delighted about, because he's an absolute fantastic kid who deserves to play out there. You know, and Joe's all heart and effort and energy, and you saw that today. So it's a good step for Joe to get back from injury. But overall, disappointed with the result and the performance. That was the one that hurt me most. But we move on, right? Some of the kids have played here for the first time, and they've been given an opportunity to play East End. And you know, we've ended up with 3 boys from Fife Elite, our U18s players playing at the end, which is fantastic.